Hello, everybody. Back here again for Vlog a Day, and today is Saturday the 12th, and today was a gorgeous day weather-wise, absolutely beautiful. We ended up in the Panhandle by Pensacola, spent the night in a hotel up here. Woke up this morning way too early because it is Central Time instead of Eastern Time, so I'm already an hour ahead of where I need to be, but it is what it is. So woke up, didn't sleep great in this hotel. It was what it was. It was a place to rest, all we needed. And I got some sleep, but not a bunch. Got up this morning way too early, was up, and didn't really go anywhere. I thought about going for my run and getting that done before Karen got up and just kind of getting out of the room. And then I realized, like, the neighborhood, we came in late last night, and it was super dark and it was sketchy as hell looking. Like, there's a lot of just kind of shifty ass people around, and didn't really feel like going out and run around just a semi ghetto, like kind of crappier, Castleberry type, neighborhood. So I thought, screw it. So didn't take off. And also, I wanted to see if there's like a park or somewhere I could go run. It's a little prettier and get there right in that way. So just kind of hung around the room there, laid around a little bit, waited for her to finally get up and around, which wasn't that much later. So she got up, she got around, basically chilled out a little bit. We went down and grabbed our continental breakfast, which was lousy at best. There was like three different kinds of like healthy little cup cereals, which I would have probably four of those in a regular bowl. So apparently my serving size has been way bigger than I thought it was in my life when I'm eating cereal in the morning. But they didn't have any chocolate milk. I didn't see any orange juice. They had some hard-boiled eggs, and they had some bread and some bagels and a toaster, and that was pretty much it. Like, there was no big containers of peanut butter. There was a lot of stuff that I'm used to having in a apples, bananas, that kind of thing, in a hotel breakfast. But it was a cheap ass hotel, so I wasn't expecting a lot. And I wish they would actually figure out what it costs on average to run the continental breakfast, and then just take that money off the top of the bill, and let me go get my own breakfast next door at Denny's or wherever the hell I want to have it. Because if it's saving $3 per customer, let me pay $3 less. I'll go to Denny's. I'll get a phenomenal breakfast for $6, and I'll be happy with it. So I, only paying $3 at that point for a good breakfast as opposed to this crap that I got from you. So, but it is what it is. But we got up, we got around. Basically, was not in a big hurry. We had an appointment. Karen had an appointment today, but it wasn't a set time. It had to be there at this exact minute. So headed over, dropped her off. It's about a half an hour drive, 25 minute drive. Dropped her off over there, and then basically, as I left there, I hung around a little while to make sure everything's going well yet, so I could basically found a little park, wandered around the park for a little bit. Ended up it like a beach park with on the river, Blackwater River, I think it is. Cute little park, a really cool park. It's $4 just to even get a person in there. It's like the carload up to 8 people is $4, but I had me and a dog, so got in there, and it was kind of deceiving of whether or not pets were allowed. I know when I got to the actual beach park, I'm thinking, we're nowhere near the coast. Like, what the hell? How are we at a beach when we're not next to a coast? And it was the river beach. The river was gorgeous. It snaked around the area, and everywhere it made a corner, there was like a gorgeous beach. And apparently it was used because there's footprints all over that thing on a regular basis. So it sounds like by midday in the summer, that place is just packed up with people. In the winter, it's about half packed up with people. Like, they have like grills, like you'd have at a campsite, like a parks and stuff, the little grills set up on the beaches, like right there by the river. And I'm like, damn, this thing must not flood very much. First off, my thought, because it's right there, they're gonna be getting washed away. But two, that's pretty cool. Like, you can go down to the beach, hike down and stuff, or even float down your kayak canoes. There's tons and tons of canoe rentals up in there. I saw probably well over 2,000 canoes and kayaks on trailers just sitting there waiting to go out that day, which is pretty impressive. So definitely something we go back, I'm going to look into doing. And I've never done the shuttle where you basically hop in a canoe or a kayak and then float downriver and they drag your stuff back. I've always dropped off a vehicle other side myself and yada yada. So be interested to see how that goes with having a shuttle company do it, or even just tube it or whatever, and kind of spend a few hours down there. Ended up finding some different trails and stuff as walk around. Decided to leave the part I was at, went down to the next spot, which I thought was farther away because you drive quite a ways up and around it. You kind of drive north and west, and then end up down there at the river crossing where the bridge is, where a lot of the kayaks and stuff were there to put in as well. And I thought, well, I'll go for a run here, and I headed down the one trail, and it's just a ton of routes. It's a Florida trail, like it's just route crazy. They're all cross, thing and whatnot. I don't mind running those normally, but I'm the one with the car. Karen's at an appointment right now, so she doesn't, I can't call her. She's on her phone in the appointment. So if something happens, I fall and, break my ankle or even just smash up my damn wrist and stuff, I got to get myself back to the car. Then I have to get myself to her to give the car back so I can get myself to the hospital. And it's a whole pain in the butt. So I turned around, headed back, and ran on the road, went looking for another trail, and then it came along more like a path. which I'll run paths all day. And run along, basically got there and stuff, and realized it wasn't as long as I thought, so I headed on around. The gentleman and his son and a dog coming off the trail told me, oh yeah, it goes back to campgrounds, which it technically does, but not the part of the campground I thought. It came back out at the other spot. So I ended up turning and taking the loop trail around it was, and he actually meant to take the boardwalk trail, but it is what it is. So I ended up back on the exact same trail I didn't want to be on over here, but I ran it the other way, and I'm like, no big deal. Just kind of slow down your pace, run it, and of course, I don't know, maybe 3/4 of a mile into that trail, I hooked a toe and was falling. Like, I knew I was going down hard, and I was like, son of a bitch. I can see all the roots I'm about to smash into. And I know years ago on a trail marathon I did in Lawrence, Kansas, a lady behind me tripped and fell. Bruce and I were leading the group, and they were behind me, and she tripped and fell, and when she landed on a root just like these, it hit her in the face, like right in the mouth, and actually pushed her 4 front teeth backwards into her head. And I was like, oh shit. And I do know that I remember over the years of hearing if your teeth get smashed back into your face, best thing to do is just pull them back to as straight as possible and hope they didn't break the roots and whatever and whatnot. And she hit hard. And we were probably 5 miles to the next aid station, and at least 3 or 4 miles from the last aid station. So it's that weird thing, like, well, we don't want to take you backwards. We at least want to take you forward, and it's a lot farther to it. But we're running, marathon, 50 mile or 100 mile, or whatever we're out here running. So we don't want to go backwards on the trail if we don't have to. And she kind of said a little bit of stuff, and we all stopped. There's probably 5 of us in our little pack at that moment. And she stopped. We picked our water bottle stuff, and we basically thought, you got to pull it out. So we basically reached in, pulled her teeth back out straight, and we were talking and stuff, and she wanted to hop up right away, and we're like, no, you hit hard, like, you need to stay there, like, you gotta stay down for a little bit. And then we got her running again, and basically as we were running along, got kind of talking to her, I was out front, kind of running real slow, because Bruce was with me, so everybody kind of followed to lead the dog. And so I was holding the pack up a little bit for her, and we were talking a little bit. I see Barry start running a little more, because we were walking originally and stuff, and we got to where we're running a little bit. And she's like, yeah, I think so and stuff. And then she mentioned something about how she played rugby for years. I just kind of hollered back. I'm like, bitch, if you played rugby, you need to suck it up, and we're running now. Get it in gear and take off. And we took off running, and it was funny because a little bit later and stuff, I stopped to poop the dog, and she's like, man, thank you for that. She goes, I really needed somebody just to yell at me and tell me to stop being a wuss and move on, because I was up in my head. So she ended up actually beating me in that race because she took off, and I had to stop with the dog, and it takes a while. I lost about an hour and a half with him on that trail marathon between pooping him and feeding him and all the BS that comes with it. Probably an hour, I bet, I lost in that process. So, but it is what it is. We had a great time. So here I'm on this trail thinking I'm going to smash my teeth as I'm falling towards this ground. And I flash back all that story of her and her smashing her teeth back. And I was like, oh shit, here it is. And sure enough, somehow I didn't. I don't know. I pulled out of it. Luckily, I'd forced Bruce to run behind me. And I had the leash around my waist, the roamer leash. And I think I was kind of pulling him because the trail was so technical. He was having trouble keeping up. It was so gross. And he kept slipping and falling. I could feel a tug on the leash. And I think, ironically, that leash around my waist had stretched out completely, and me yanking on him ended up actually saving me from falling down. So I owe him for being behind me, I think, not for smashing my body into the ground. But I slowed down, I paced a little bit. I really started focusing. I sped up a little too much at that point, felt a little too confident. Slowed down, headed back out, got to the car. I think it was great, didn't fall again. Had some stumbles and whatnot. You stumble all the time in trails, but I thought I was hitting the ground time. Like, I was going perpendicular. Like, I was going out, and then the leash kind of held me here. I was able to run up out of it, so it worked out well for me. But got back to the car, hung around the river there for a little bit, headed back to the hotel. Ended up giving mom a call, talked to her for a little while, because I talked to her randomly on text message a lot, but not on the phone that much. Got back to the hotel, got myself a shower, got cleaned up, packed out of the hotel and whatnot, and basically headed back towards Karen's appointment to pick her up. And the latest I could pick her up was like 2, and who knows if she'd get done early or not. And he's like, okay, so I'm waiting around to see if I get a phone call from her. So I wanted to be close, and there was a dog beach not that far from me. And I was like, well, I can go to the dog beach. It's like 15 more minutes, about 12 more minutes than what was driving to where her appointment is. But I looked from the dog beach to where her appointment is, and it was like 50 minutes. And I'm like, God, so it's a completely opposite direction. So said to hell with it, went back over, found a little park called Blackwater Mills Park, I think it is, like that. And it's a great little, it's an old sawmill. And it's a great little park, just some blacktop paths and whatnot, some beach, or a kayak put in at the river there and stuff, in the Blackwater River. And benches and stuff, but no shade anywhere, no cover, no gazebos, no nothing. And I lit up a center stuff, and I was like, look around, the sky's beautiful sights and stuff. And I look up, and it's starting to drizzle. And I'm like, oh crap. And it's just that light, crappy drizzle where it's not raining hard enough, you gotta go to the car, but it's also not not rain at all where you can't stay out here the whole time. So I'm starting to get wet. So I ended up looking around there, tried to hide in the tree, and the tree wasn't working and stuff. And so I ended up at the bathroom, like where it's like a 3-foot overhang. So I'm standing next to a bathroom door and waiting for it. So I'm like, I just don't want to sit in the car. I'm going to be sitting in the car for hours driving home today. I don't want to sit in the car any longer and have to today too. So I headed back, finally gave up. It would stop, it would start, it would stop, start stuff. Headed back to go pick her up. End up finding like a I don't know, a place that buys like all the return tools from Lowe's and Home Depot and kind of crap, like Ryobis and saws and chainsaws and fans and all that kind of crap. So I stopped by there, had a big sale going. I had a gorgeous kayak that if I hadn't just bought my tandem Hobie, I probably would have brought this thing home. It was stunning. It was a tandem, gorgeous seagoing kayak, and part of me wants to go back and get it anyway, just because it's such a different style of kayak. It's designed for like like this flat out ocean going. Like it's fast. Like I bet I could probably get another good paddler in it. We could probably paddle as fast as I can fin pedal my Hobie with the Mirage drive, because it's so slick and just smooth and just goes. And it's one of the ones you can pedal or you can paddle for. Say you get paddling stuff up like 5 mile an hour, let off on flat water, you can just coast for like a mile. Like it's just so smooth. It's beautiful looking kayak, but it is what it is. So, but didn't even ask how much it was. I was afraid they'd say something stupid like $700 on some number of like, oh shit, I gotta take it home. But it's probably more like they're gonna say $3,000. And then I was like, okay, cool, I don't have to ask. But I'm not paying $3,000 for it at the moment. But I was afraid they would say something stupid like $500. Now I'm running around looking for the foam pads to mount on top of my car because I don't have kayak carriers or nothing, or buying blankets to strap it down and just bring that thing home. So, but didn't even ask. Walked around and stuff a little bit, talked to people and stuff a little while there. Didn't buy tools. They're all returns and whatnot, and the prices weren't cheap enough, I don't think, for what may have been some asshole bought a saw, used it for 2 weeks to finish his project, took it back, and there's nothing wrong with it, just says they don't want it. And that's one thing. But also could be the fact the motor's bad. The guy could have plugged in a 220 instead of 110, and barely, it's now wearing out quicker. Like it's been overdriven. There's a whole bunch of problems that can happen in there. So just said hell with it and skipped it, because like I said, it wasn't that cheap. I'd rather buy it from a yard sale where I know the guy is saying, yeah, plug it in, it works good, I've used it myself the whole time, I can meet the guy that's returned it or getting rid of it if you look at yard sale than here. And I could have bought it for about half of that price at the yard sale. So just gave up on it. Had some cool stuff, nice people. I just wasn't what I was going to pay for what it was. So headed back over, waiting around for her to get out. She got out, I don't know, probably 2:15. The meeting ran long, which is fine. I had no problem with that. And then we basically were going to head to the beach. We're going to do a couple of things. We talked about it, and we decided to head back home. And if we go back up something like this again, that far to the Panhandle, we're probably going to spend 2 nights there, because I driving up Friday and then I drove back home, and I was doing fine. I was no big deal and stuff. And then I don't know, a little before dark, like it was probably, I don't know, 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock. So actually, I told her, I said, hey, if you think I might want you to drive some, because I'm feeling pretty tired here and stuff. If it's possible, if you can nap right now and get yourself some good sleep, because she can sleep in a car like fucking nothing. Like she goes to sleep in a car right away. I would like you to drive after a while and then go from there. Or if nothing else, I'm going to pull over. So I brought my hammock with me. I'm going to pull over one of these rest stops or pull off on a side road somewhere, grab a little park and the hammock up in a couple trees and just take a nap for 45 minutes or so. So what I did on a motorcycle ride to Iowa, I just napped for 45 minutes in a hammock and drove the rest of the way, for the 1,200 miles on the motorcycle straight through. So was in that whole process. And then she's like, oh, I'm good. So she took a nap and she slept probably an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours like that. So I drove through, and then by the time I finally woke her up, pulled in the rest stop where it was stuff to change places or gas station where I pulled into, I was done. Like I was literally couldn't keep my damn eyes open. Like it was ridiculousness. We'd actually already eaten. We stopped in the Arby's and ate before she napped, and then I was just like I was like focusing. It was like hard. Like it felt like it was like 3 a.m. I was so tired, which all the driving up last night and the whole 9 yards and not sleeping very good in the hotel, I was definitely paying for it. So we swapped places, and I pulled in. I said, I'm going to go to the bathroom. I'm going to go a couple of things, walk the dog. When I get back, you got to tell me, do you want me to nap here? Do you want to wander around the rest stop while I nap in the car? Or do you want me to tie up the hammock and then, whatever kind of thing and stuff? Or do you want to drive? And she goes, I'm good driving. I said, you got to be 100% good on driving. You can't be thinking you're a little tired or nothing. Like I need to know, because if I think there's any chance that you're going to, cause an accident because you're sleepy driving, I won't be able to get good rest, and I'm going to be so pissed off if something like that happens. You fell asleep at the wheel, because I wasn't. Because I know I can physically force myself to stay awake. It just sucks, and I hate doing it to my body. So I went ahead, and she's like, nope, I'm 100% good. So I got in the car, we headed out, and I must be getting to where I trust this woman a lot more than I thought I did, because I have such trust issues riding the passenger seat of a car as anybody. And this is the first time I recall truly falling asleep in the car and getting some decent sleep. It wasn't very long, it was 20 minutes or so. That's all I needed. She drove about an hour. I got probably 20 minutes of good sleep in there. Not say good, it's in a car, but I had my eyes closed and I didn't hear what's on the radio. I didn't hear what's driving on the cars around me. I didn't hear the road noise. All that got turned off. That's all my brain needed to reset. Like I woke back up, I kind of tossed and turned around quite a bit and stuff. And finally said, I'm 100% good. If you want me to drive, I can get us home now. It's not a big deal. So like I said, it was about an hour driving. She did. She pulled over, basically swapped out, and then we headed on home. And I drove all the way straight through with virtually no problem. Like we got in here, I don't know, 11 o'clock I think it was when we got in here. 10 o'clock maybe 11 o'clock from the time we left. 10 o'clock our time because the time change thing, whatever stuff, but it is what it is. So yeah, we got in here, basically unpacked the car, hung a little bit. The hot tub was turned off. It was down like 80, I think it was 88 degrees, 81 degrees, so 87 degrees, 80, yeah. And then so I went ahead and cranked that heater on, so I figured I can be out here to where I'm out here in the morning, and it was warm enough ironically by morning, so that worked out real well. But hung out for a little bit, couldn't get in the hot tub, so we just kind of chilled out in the house. Like I said, put everything away, resynced my phone, downloaded some more podcasts, and went to bed. Didn't even start watching Friends or Netflix and like that, nothing. I put on a comedy special, and then we talked a little while, and then we crashed out and went to sleep. So worked really, really well. So anyway, that's all I got for right now. I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Have yourself a safe, wonderful day. Thanks for watching.